Wow.
Ready? Ready?
Alarm sent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
At some point, you get completely muted. So, okay, we will start in. Let's see if Johan can join and we can start. People start coming.
Okay.
We will start in a couple of minutes. We are waiting for Johan to join. Well, Johan, if you are here, just say hello.
Hello, my name is Johan, but I don't know if I'm the person who you are looking for.
Are you Johan Stokking or? Sorry?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Johan. Hey, Dieter, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Fine, and you? Nice to meet you as well.
Are you part of the TTN community in Switzerland?
Yes, I'm a member of the TTN community with Bern.
Awesome.
So,
nice city.
yeah, have you been there?
Yeah, sure.
Already?
A couple of times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, also for Barcelona, it's nice.
Yeah, on this new fashion of virtual meetups, it's nice to visit other cities, right?
Yes.
On meetup point of view.
Yeah.
In a really easy way. Yeah.
But it's for sure better when we can go again to travel again and all this.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Places, the real places, not only virtually.
Actually, my last trip was in Switzerland before the lockdown. So.
Oh, cool.
I went to visit some friends there.
Okay, nice.
And how's the TTN community there?
Unfortunately, there is not that much running currently. But there were, it's already 2 years ago, maybe when we last met, I think. There's not that much activity for the moment. Yeah.
And is that because of the lockdown, or?
Yeah, for sure. This as well. It is because of that for sure now. But anyway, it was not that much going on. Only one person, the leader of the community, is from time to time doing stuff, but there are not too much people attending the meetups or the sessions. But I think it will be revived, or whatever to say, later on again.
And how many gateways you have in Bern?
Good question. Yeah, there are more than 20, I think,
Nice.
or more. It's not a big city. It's really really small. I have to check. I also have not been much on our community page, to be honest, last times. But yeah, it's cool when I start to use devices again. I'm just in developer mode for the moment. I'm always able to get connected to any device, to any gateway somewhere. I don't know where, but it's always working. So it's good coverage here, I would say.
Yeah, well, 20, it's a lot, yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Xose has more experience. Hey, Rigid, how are you? I think 20, it's a good number.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for a city. Yeah, it is. I don't know how big it's grown, but we have in Barcelona, we have around that, also that number, more or less, and have a 90% coverage, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
also a flat city, Barcelona, so pretty easy. Mostly flat.
Well, it's easy if you put it in the mountain, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of them up in the mountains, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a key part, to have access to specific roofs of the city.
Yeah.
Cool. So I don't know, maybe let's start, and if Johan Stokking join at some point, we give him the word. If that makes sense, Xose, what do you think?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the meetup 53, I guess it is, from the IoT Barcelona. I'm Marc Pous, and I'm running this since the first meetups. And I'm welcome to get the benefit of these virtual meetups again, to have to speak. Well, Xose, he lives nearby Barcelona, but unattended, some of the physical meetups, I guess. But it's always good to have as well people from abroad to learn of what we are speaking at the meetup. Today, probably we speak about something very specific, that it's the gateway management thing from the things network and the things industries or the things stack. But I think that it's a really interesting topic for people to understand how to manage their fleet of devices, if it's gateways or whatever it is. Even if it's not a single board computer like a Raspberry Pi that we are going to speak, I think it's a really interesting topic to understand that having the availability of managing the firmware or the software running on devices that usually are remote, this is key for the success of the projects. I don't know, Xose, if you had any bad experience on that, or?
Not so far. Well, actually, in Barcelona, we are collaborating with, it's not a company, it's a foundation that gives us access to good locations and also internet access to our gateways. And they manage all the tunneling and this kind of stuff, which is great for most of the gateways we have, which are commercial kind of gateways. But here today, we are going to talk about gateways we have more control on what firmwares they running, right? Like Raspberry Pis or any other single board computer. And I think it's a great choice. I was telling Marc that I had statistics about how many gateways are connected to TTN, which are based on Raspberry Pi, but I lost them. It was in the several thousands. So yeah, I mean, it's a great tool to migrate all those gateways to V3.
Yeah, and actually what we are gonna do today, if you have a Raspberry Pi and a LoRa concentrator, so for example, here we have a bunch of different concentrators, Xose and me. We are gonna create a fleet of TTN gateways and the things stack gateways at some point. So if you have one, feel free to let us know so we can join you to our application so you can be part of the fleet of LoRa gateways. It doesn't matter where you're based, but if you have a Raspberry Pi and a LoRa concentrator, so you're more than welcome to. I mean, we are gonna do very step-by-step things, so it's gonna be very fun if you can join us on the step-by-step. If you have a Pi, let us know on the chat, okay? And we will let you know what to do. What else? Let me share my screen so I give you some context of what we are going to do. And if Johan joins, let me know. Okay, and feel free to, okay, cool, Arijit. So we will have, wow, we will create a worldwide fleet. So we will have a gateway in India. Awesome. So looking for, yeah, please follow the steps that we are going to create. We will invite you to the application. So let me share my screen if I can. Oh, come on. I just didn't allow to share my screen before. Hey, Arijit. So can you see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Yep.
Okay. So probably, as most of you know, on the Things Conference 2021, there was this big announcement that the Things network is going to be, so that all the devices, nodes and gateways on the Things network, now version 2, are needed to be migrated into the Things stack version 3. So a new software stack, maybe Xose can give more details on that. And actually, I was presenting at the conference about a new gateway packet forwarder that it's called. Well, it's not new. It's maybe more than 1 year old, but it's a basic station. But then we realized last minute that we had to move everything that we had from TTN to the Things stack. And thanks to Xose and other developers from the community, actually we made a big change on this basic station repository to manage the LoRa gateways, in order to, in a really simple way, have the gateways on V2, and then in just changing one variable on a dashboard, move all the gateways from your fleet into V3 in a really simple way, reducing the friction. So that's the goal of this talk today. So the talk today is to introduce you the basic station that has some specifics, and on the other hand, show you how easy, between quotes, it's to move from V2 to V3, and we will try to do that in 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, this is why I tell you, if you have a Pi and a concentrator, feel free to join what we are going to do, Xose and me and Arijit, as far as I know. I don't see the chat, so feel free to introduce yourself on the chat, and if you have a Pi or a concentrator, let me know. So on the menu today, we're going to explain you how to reduce friction, how we will start cooking now with a Pi and a rack LoRa concentrator with this basic station LoRa gateway, and we are going to move from V2 to V3. Actually, I have some LoRa nodes. I have a WIS blocks here with a GPS. We are going to explain as well how to move, what to do with nodes. Like very briefly, we are not going to get into the detail of how to move from V2 to V3 the nodes. Maybe that's a future episode for the IoT meetup. I don't know. And then, let me tell you as well, it's a shameless plug, but I work at Balena. I'm developer advocate at Balena, and we are helping fleet managers, so it's companies or developers who have a lot of devices connected to internet, to manage the software running on these devices. And actually, when I joined Balena 1 year ago, one of the projects that I thought that it would be really interesting to help to was the LoRa gateways, because as Xose said some minutes ago, more than 1,000 Raspberry Pis are part of the Things network army of gateways, that are crowdsourcing or creating this LoRaWAN network. And I think that it makes a lot of sense to simplify life of people who are managing these gateways using Balena. Okay, so if you don't know what is Balena, maybe you use this software. If you use it, feel free to raise your hands on the Jitsi. So this is Balena Etcher, and it's one of the most popular softwares for flashing SD cards and USB sticks. It's open source, actually, and our goal as well is to reduce the friction of people who are trying to flash SD cards or USB sticks to install Linux or other operating systems on their computers or or IoT devices. So if you use Etcher, you are using software made by Balena, so you understand how we like to simplify lives of things. Okay, so let me get into this. So usually when we are prototyping on IoT, usually we have one device connected on our table, and yeah, that's easy to make changes, to make development, etc. But when you get, let's imagine that this Raspberry Pi, it's a TTN gateway. So it's easy when it's on our table, to make changes, to refresh it, or to change the software, etc. But when it's a TTN gateway, it's in places that are complex to access, most of them. So at that moment, making a software update, sometimes it's tricky. You need like a lot of tools, or some tools, like to set up a VPN and to set up maybe a website or a server and so on. So actually, this is how Balena help here. Balena has a product called balenaCloud that it actually helps to create this system to manage your device. And the nice thing of Balena is that it uses an open source operating system that is the Balena OS, that it runs. It's a Linux operating system. Well, it's a Yocto. It's based on Yocto, and it runs containers. So all the software running on the top of Balena OS must run on containers, and that's what we do. We just help you to manage the containers running on your devices. And the nice thing as well is that sometimes even on gateways, right? Sometimes one is a Pi, but the other one it's a Pi 4, another it's a Pi 3, another it's a compute module carrier board. So sometimes the same software don't run on all your fleet of devices. And this is how at Balena we try to simplify this. We have more than 60 different devices that are compatible with Balena. And so one code can run in all more than 60 devices. Okay. I talk about Balena Etcher, right? I talk about Balena OS, that it's the operating system based on Yocto. I talk about balenaCloud, that is a dashboard that you're going to see in a bit, that it's free up to 10 devices. You can have up to 10 LoRa gateways for free. That's not a problem. We also have Open Balena, that it's the open source flavored balenaCloud. It doesn't have UI, but yeah, it's a CLI tool, but it works well. We have Balena Engine. Actually, Balena Engine, when I mentioned that all the software running on Balena OS runs on containers, it runs on, it's compatible with Docker container, but it runs on Balena Engine. It's this Docker container based on Mobi. So actually, everything that you will make that it works on Balena OS and on Balena Engine, it's compatible with Docker. So we love open source. Everything here it's open source except balenaCloud. And we like as well to don't give a very aggressive lock-in to our customers. And then we have Balena Fin on the bottom. That I don't know if you see my camera. I don't think so. Let me stop sharing my screen and enable my camera. Yes, I think you see my camera now. So a Balena Fin, let me show this one. Maybe it's easier. So this is a Balena Fin. Actually, with a lot of customers using Raspberry Pi, we learn the good and the bad sides of the Pis. So some of the problems of the Pis are electricity and SD cards. So we try to solve that with different electricities and a memory of an eMMC. A Balena Fin, actually, it's a carrier board of a compute module 3. So this is a Raspberry Pi 3. And then it also has a co-processor that enables to sleep the compute module. So you get into a very low power Raspberry Pi 3. That's really interesting as well. So actually what I'm going to use for this demo, it's a Balena Fin with a rack concentrator, the 2287, that it's the latest version of the rack concentrators. We are not going to use the co-processor yet, but yeah, just to explain you why we have a fin. Actually, we are working on the fin 2.0, and that will be completely open source at some point. That will be a carrier board of the compute module 4 of the Pi 4. So let's get into cooking, right, Jose? I don't know if you want to add anything, Jose.
No, it's okay. You're doing it very well.
Okay, let's get into interesting stuff. So the Things Network, actually, at Balena, we are helping to build gateways since the first Things conference. I think that was 2018, so only 3 years ago. But actually, since
Marc,
sorry?
I just want to say that Johan is here. Maybe.
Okay. Hey, Johan, how are you?
Hey, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, nice to see you all here. Wish I could be joining on a real Barcelona physical meetup, but hopefully next year sometime.
Exactly. You attended a couple of times, right? When you launched the Things Network.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. There was sometimes we planned around Mobile World Congress or other events. We've been quite a few times in Barcelona, but it's obviously also a really nice city to visit, so that helps.
Cool. By the way, I was mentioning at the beginning that on the Things Conference 2021, you make a big announcement, right? Presenting the Things Stack version 3. Would you like to give like a tweet presentation of what's the version 3 of the Things Stack?
Yeah, so version 3 is our major new version. We've been working on that for quite long. I think around 2.5 years now, maybe even 3. And we basically rewrote our software stack from scratch. And the reason why we did that is that because we saw that LoRaWAN has a lot of different ways that it can be used. So we needed to have a stack that is also very versatile. So we built our initial software mostly for the community network, and that worked really well. And so that's also what you guys have been using mostly. That's version 2. And but we also saw that people want to have a small open source distribution, or they want to have a larger enterprise distribution, or basically everything in between. And so we thought, okay, we have to think about our architecture again. And so we started doing that, and we also had quite some time to really think about it, how to do it right, because there was nothing really broken on the Things Network. So we had like a parallel development process for like 2 years almost before we had our first release, and that's the Things Stack. So the Things Stack is version 3, and we have an open source core which you can find on GitHub, and we are now also upgrading the community network to v3. So that is available. We have routing regions in Europe and in the US and in Australia. And v2 is also still live. So currently we have both v2 and v3 running at the same time. But we are planning to discontinue the v2 service. So it's a major update. There's no line of code that is that got ported from v2 to v3. So it's a hard update, and we also know that it's quite challenging for everyone to upgrade from v2 to v3, because it's APIs are different. It's still a LoRaWAN network server, and we still spend a lot of time and effort on the web interface, the console. And if you already have some experience with v3, you will also know that it's way more advanced than what we had before. But that also means that there are more options available. There are more checkboxes. There are more input fields. There's just more that you can do, and that may feel like it's quite overwhelming to start with. But yeah, that we have good documentation also, and you can also contribute to the documentation. And we also see that we have some key ambassadors in the community that are helping out on the forums, on the community Slack, and also this meetup is also hopefully helping the upgrade to V3. What else? We have a new service also, and that is called Packet Broker, and that is used to exchange traffic between LoRaWAN networks. So what we have connected is V2 and V3 community networks, and that means that the coverage of gateways is available in both V2 and V3. So you don't have to migrate gateways right now to V3. You can the order would be to start migrating devices to try out if your devices are still working. You want to adapt your applications to maybe new endpoints. It's all quite easy. We have upgrading documentation, but you don't have to go to the gateways right now and change them from V2 to V3, because those devices will keep working also if they are in V3. Packet Broker is not only to connect to community networks. We also have our commercial offering connected to Packet Broker, and that allows also customers to contribute to the community network and make use of coverage by the community network. And also, if you want to set up a private open source distribution with the thing stack, then you can also connect that to Packet Broker. So it's sort of a backbone, like an internet exchange for LoRaWAN traffic.
Nice.
What else? So on the upgrading, there's quite some there were quite some questions, and it's also we also it's not something that we can just throw at the community and say, hey, here's a new version, please upgrade. What we advise is to start migrating the devices already. Everything should work. You can even migrate your existing. We have tooling available to migrate devices, so you don't have to copy paste all the keys from V2 to V3. So that makes things more convenient. And finally, when those devices are migrated, you can go to your gateways and change the endpoint to connect it directly to V3. That's basically it.
Cool. So good job, by the way, on the V3. And so that actually with Xose, we already did this in Catalan for the TTN community. And actually we got into this conclusion that of the demo that we are going to show now in some minutes, that it could be really easy for gateway owners if they use, for example, Balena, the example that we are going to use, just to for some minutes move to V3, so create the gateways on V3, and then automatically change when they say that it gets connected, change again to V2 to give coverage still to the nodes that have not been removed. But we made this migration from V2 to V3, as we're going to show you. Just changing one variable on the balenaCloud dashboard.
Cool.
So it's that simple.
Yeah, nice. That's.
So I see on the chat that a couple of folks have a Pi with a concentrator. Johan, if you have a Pi with a concentrator, feel free to join the workshop. And I think that we should jump into hack some gateways, if that makes sense. Xose, are you here? You're muted, but I will share again my screen. And let's start. Let me show you how to create a TTN gateway with a Pi. So I go to hub.balena.io. That it's actually our marketplace for IoT and edge applications. You can submit your applications here if you have applications running with Balena. And we have one that it's the TTN V2, V3 basic station. So Xose actually will help me because he's one of the biggest PR for this V2 to V3 migration. You can access actually to the GitHub repo on the read more. So all the instructions, everything that we are going to do, it's documented here. Okay, but I'm going to click automatically deploy with Balena. Okay, deploy with Balena. If you don't have an account on balenaCloud, if you are going to follow my steps, my recommendation is to create an account on balenaCloud. It's free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create Barcelona basic station, I'm going to call it. What I'm going to do is to create an application for Raspberry Pi 3. That means that it will run containers of 32 bits. And what we are going to do here is we are going to create an application that will release all the source code that is on this GitHub repository with these variables. Okay, so I'm going to create and deploy this application. So for the people who is trying to follow our steps, I'm going to do something simple, so you don't need to go to hub.balena.io. You can do it. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fleet of LoRa gateways. Okay, so create an account on Balena and let me know on the Jitsi chat your Balena username. So actually your Balena username, sorry. It's here. If you go on the top right menu, okay, it's here. You just copy it. Here, mine is Marc6. Just copy and leave it on the chat of the Jitsi, and I will invite you to this application. What it's happening now is I created this organization application on my account, IoT Barcelona Basic Station, and there is and the code that is on the GitHub repo of Basic Station. It's being built here. So when I will click Add Device for my fin with a concentrator, the code that it's being released now here on balenaCloud, it's going to be deployed on my fin and on your Pis. So yeah, you're going to be, so all of our gateways are going to run under the same software. So there will be one single truth of software. Okay, and when there will be an update of the software or a bug solved or a new PR to have more different concentrators or different boards, so this software will be deployed to all the fleet of devices. Okay, so that's the magic of Balena. Okay, I'm gonna add Xose here. Add member Xose. If I'm not wrong, this is your account. And I say no, this is not your account, Xose. Okay, Johan, yeah, if you have to drop, no worries. Okay, Arijit, I'm gonna add you, and Joseph, feel free copy. Please copy your so add member. Okay, Arijit, you can add your devices, and Johan, I'm gonna add you here as well, and Xose, I don't know why I don't know your user. Let me try again. I don't think it's like this now. I don't know, Xose. I don't know your. Just tell me something by voice when you can. So what I'm gonna do, actually, yeah, the release is still building. I'm gonna add a device. Oh, I need to upgrade my application. Give me a second. Sorry. Why I need? Let's see if I can. No? Why not? Sorry for that. I got into the, yeah. Okay. So I will select, so what I need to do now, so I want to add a device. That means that I need to download an operating system image, like you would, yeah, like the Balena OS image. I will introduce, yeah, I will say that it's Ethernet only, but here, if you have Wi-Fi credentials, you can introduce your Wi-Fi credentials. And I will download the Balena OS, okay? And I will say that it's a fin, but yeah, it should work. If you have a Pi 4, that's not a problem. You can select Pi 4, okay, and it will work anyway. So what happens actually, it's that Pi 4, so Pi 3 and the fin runs on 32 bits. So to have this application compatible with Pi 3s and Pi 4s, that Pi 4 only runs 64 bits, we go to the 32 bits. So that means that the Pi 4 will download 64-bit operating system running 32-bit containers. That should be okay. Next thing that we will need is to flash on with Etcher my fin. Yeah, my fin is different than probably your Pis. You only need to flash the SD card. In this case, I have an eMMC, so I will need to do some. I need to connect the device. Okay, I have Etcher here. I will flash from file. This is the image that we just download, IoT Barcelona basic station, balenaCloud. Select target, compute module, it's initializing. Just connect it. Just connect it now. Harijit, Johan, are you installing your devices as well? Are you following my steps?
Yep. So my OSM is currently downloaded.
Okay, cool. So are you now using Etcher for your SD card?
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so now I'm flashing the eAMC of my Balena fin, but if you have an SD card, it will be exactly the same with the SD card. And once this is done, I'm going to power up my Pi or my fin and connect it, and the device will be provisioned into balenaCloud. Okay, it will be a competition. Let's see who is connecting first the device to the application. Let me check if Xose told me something. Hey, Xose, can you share with me your
Yes, sir.
username of Balena, because I tried and I failed all the time.
There's one.
Oh, okay, the G. Okay. Okay, let me invite you. So members, add member. Okay. So my fin got flashed. Let me disconnect all the. I just connect the Ethernet. Okay, and I just power it up. Okay, let's see when it appears here. Now it's a kind of magic to see a device appearing here. Let's go to releases to see when we did the deploy with Balena. Clicking that button, actually that means that this Docker Compose has been released and built on balenaCloud, on the builders of balenaCloud. I don't know, Xose, if you can mute yourself.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's get back here. Okay, so we got the release of the source code from the GitHub repo that it's basic station, and at some point my fin should appear here, and your devices, if you did the same steps, should appear here. What else? Okay, let me tell you a bit about basic station. Basic station, basically, it's a new packet forwarder. So the original packet forwarder that Semtech released was a packet forwarder based on UDP, if I'm not wrong. Xose, feel free to correct me. And now, 1 year ago, they released this basic station new packet forwarder that it's more secure. It uses WebSockets with certificates, as you're going to see. That maybe we will have some problems downloading the certificates. Hopefully not. But yeah, this is like the newest one, and it's like the most recommended packet forwarder that you can use for the things stack. You're going to see that for the TTN v2, we have to hack a bit the registration of gateways before we make it. We register it, but but yeah, it works anyway. There is a hack made by TTN there. But yeah, it's like the new packet forwarder. I don't know if you want to add anything, Jose, on here.
No, that's right. I mean, in V3, the old UDP packet forwarder still works, but it's an insecure connection over UDP, prone to failure, to lost packets, and so yeah, using Basic Station or using actually there are some other options, but Basic Station is the best one right now. Way to connect to TTS.
Okay. I don't know. This is the classical thing that they never got up because I have problems with Ethernet or something. Let me check why this is not coming up. So Arijit or Johan, what's your stage? Or Jose, can you move your gateways here or?
Yeah, meanwhile we are waiting for the gateways to appear, I can move mine.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe we can explain what we are doing here, right?
Yeah, I can explain why we are doing that. So Jose has his gateways in his whatever they are, but his gateways belong to another Balena application. So because I give you access to this application, he can move devices from one application to the other. Okay, so to make it simpler and don't do this add device and download the OS and do the Balena etcher. Yeah, as you can see on the screen, he moved his 4 gateways automatically. So it's easier and faster. One of the problems if you do that is that if there are new versions of the Balena OS or new versions of the supervisor, they don't get updated. With that, you can do it manually. But yeah, that's a super simple way to do it. As you can see now, they are updating with the latest, with the release that it's on this application. And maybe, I should say, we can get to, as mine, it's still not alive. I don't know why, I need to check. Maybe you can share your screen and get into the B2 configuration, if that makes sense.
Yes, sure. Let me share my screen. I remember how to do it.
Yeah. There is a,
Yes. So this one.
Oh, okay, we see your screen. Yes.
So as you can see, I can see the same 4 gateways as Marc was showing you. 4 gateways that belong to me. I mean, they are my gateways, even though they are in Marc's application. That's an interesting point because the gateways are my propriety and they are pointing to my profile in the TTN console or TTS console. So Marc cannot see the traffic of the gateways, even though he can manage the software that's in them. So I can see maybe it's one of yours. It's Raspberry Pi 3. No, maybe it's Johan's. Johan's idea that's getting up. This one.
Johan, if you're based nearby Madrid?
No.
Okay. I don't know. This is one of yours, Jose. You are in Colombia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, super cool. So actually, look at this, Jose. Go to location. Can you see on the menu, on the bottom of the menu, on the left menu?
Yes.
Location. Go to location. Yeah, this is super cool because you're gonna see like a big. Okay, nice.
Okay, that's mine.
Yeah.
And looking forward to see the one from Arijit in India. So.
Still not here. No.
Okay.
And this one in Madrid, maybe it's one of yours.
It's one of yours, yes.
That's mine. What is it doing here?
Well, actually, we don't get like a GPS location.
It's mine. Yeah, it's one of mine.
Probably the IP assign gives us this location. I don't know.
Well, actually, the 4 of them. They are here on my desk. So let me show you the gateways. I will stop sharing.
Okay.
Can you see Can I see my camera now? No.
We still see yours. I still see your screen.
You still see my screen. So what is it doing here now?
Okay. Now, yes. Yeah. Now I see your. Yeah.
Cool. So I have 4 gateways on my desk. And the nice thing about this is that the 4 of them are based on Raspberry Pi 3 or 4, 2 on 3, 2 on 4, but they are based on different concentrators. For instance, I have a Raspberry Pi 3 with a rack 2245 head. I have a Raspberry Pi 4 with an old rack 833. I have one of the new rack gateways, development gateways, with our rack 2287, which is based on the SX 1302, sorry. And then I have here one that is waiting for a final location.
Nice.
Which is
nice
Raspberry. Yeah, it's almost ready. I'm waiting for the municipality to give me access to the tower, to put it in the tower, and it's an IMSD IC880A.
Super easy.
Yeah.
So what's the antenna? Can you tell us? Can you say just
no, this is just a testing antenna, because the antenna that will go on the gateway itself, it's a rack antenna. It's
or
1 meter
TTN?
antenna. Yeah.
Cool.
So as you can see, there are 4 different concentrators and 2 different hosts, like Raspberry Pi 3 and 4, which makes this pretty cool, because you can actually manage different kind of gateways with this solution. And that's nice. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, right?
You were sharing your screen actually as well, so that was nice that you made. Yeah, you were sharing your screen and we could see you.
Nice, that's magic. Okay, so what I did is moving these 4 gateways, and I used to name them again after what they are based on. So you can see Raspberry Pi 4 with a 833, another Pi 4 and 2 Pi 3s, and the Johan's gateway here in the middle. So they are, the 5 of them are actually now on the current release, on the last version of the code. So, and they are, if we can go to the, so I am at application level, and we can go to the environment variables, and we can see that these are all pointing to TTN stack version 2 and TTN region Europe, which means that maybe Johan's gateway will not work right now, or maybe yes, I don't know. But let's try. Let's try. That these are variables that are defined at application level, and we can override these variables with another variable with the same name defined at device level. So no worries. So if I go to my console right now in version 2, sorry, and I can see my gateways, and one of them is this one. No, this one is not, sorry. I have a lot of gateways here. Okay, cool. This is one of the versions. This is one of the gateways I have now working with Balena in today's demo, and I can see that I also have a low Pi 4 development board, which is sending messages, and hopefully it should work. And I should see the messages here. Tick, 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 tick. No. We can try another thing. Let me share a different screen. Oh no, this is screen. Can you see this now? Can
yes.
You see the console right now? Right.
Yeah, we can see yours. Yeah.
So yeah, what I have is that I have. So one of the things that we wanted to tell you is that, as Johan said, gateways should be the last thing to move to V3, right? We should start moving first the applications and the devices, and let the gateways to the very last minute, just before the shutdown of V2. That is important because since we are using a community network, since we are actually sharing our gateways with other people that might be using them to get this information for their devices, it is important to keep the gateways on V2 as long as possible, because as Johan Stokking said, all the messages that are received by gateways in V2 are redirected to V3 applications as well. So they will work with V3 applications, even if the gateways are in V2. The minute we move the gateway to V3, they will stop giving solution or giving access to V2 applications, which might render some applications useless, right? So it's important to move the gateways, the very last thing. Right now, with this sensor we have here, the sensor is already in V3, so I can go to the console in V3, which is in EU here, and I can see. I have to log in. Sorry. Let me introduce my master password. No. This one, okay. Authorize. So yeah, I'm in V3 applications, and I have this testing application with my LoPi 1. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
And it should start receiving messages. I don't know what's going on. Here. Yeah.
So what? Yeah, I think you already say that, but we are using the node. So we are using nodes on V3.
Yeah.
And they can be seen on V2 and V3 at the same time.
So this node is in V3, and the application is in V3, but the gateways that are receiving these messages are now on V2. So this works. Gateways on V2 and application and devices on V3 works. The other way around, it doesn't work. So moving the gateways has to be the very last thing to do. Another way to see this is that I can. So this Mosquito is an MQTT Mosquito service, an MQTT client, which I can just I have filtered what messages I'm receiving for this device. So, and actually what I'm seeing is the name of the gateways these messages are going through. And as you can see, I can only see packet broker. This is because all the gateways in V2 are redirected to V3, and V3 sees them as packet broker, as this tool that does the roaming thing between V2 and V3. So I'm seeing them as packet broker. Once we are, and I can see only 4 of them. They should be 5 because I have one on top of my desk, which is my development gateway, and I'm not going to move them. So I guess one of the gateways I have here are having some issues. But anyway, you can see that the 4 of them are going through the packet broker.
Okay, Jose, let's go more step by step, because Arijit is asking on the chat what device variable he needs to change. So maybe I can share my screen and I can create. I think my gateway it's running now. I think I had a problem. I have a problem with my Ethernet.
It is not.
Yeah, it is. So
it is.
Yes. So let me share my screen for a sec, because I will create the gateway for the TTN V2 very quickly. Okay, so this is, well, by the way, this is a very beautiful fleet location map where we have a fleet of gateways all around the world. Actually, that can be managed by Balena. So if I get into my device that it's a purple river, I know it because I am the only one using a Balena fan. One thing that it's very important is that this is the EUI of the device. Okay, so you can copy the EUI. To register the gateway, you always will need the EUI, okay? So I copy this, I copy the EUI, and I get into the things console. So go to console.thethingsnetwork.org, and I click register gateway, okay? And then here, this is the way I say that it's a bit hacky. We need to click, I'm using a legacy packet forwarder. Well, it's the newest, but yeah, you have to click here. I will say FIN 2287, whatever. And here I will select Europe. But yeah, if you are in India, that's easy. If you are in Colombia, I'm not sure if you are Australia or United States. Jose, I don't know if you...
We have both,
okay.
But the government approved officially the EU.
Okay, so I register my gateway. Okay, and it already says connected. So next thing that you need to do is just copy the gateway ID. You get into here, go to the device variables. As your device, so Jose actually made a tiny trick that he made a tiny trick. Let me start my camera. So he made a tiny trick that he just moved the devices so all the variables were there. And in our case, we have a fresh device, so our variables are not here. So for V2, we need to override the gateway ID. It's the one I copied, okay? And then the next thing that we need to do is actually copy the gateway key, okay? Just clicking here and go to gateway key and override the gateway key, okay? So overriding this, now the gateway will restart. By the way, yeah, my model, it's not SX1301 because I'm using a 2287. So if you're using a 2245, is for a rack 2245, I'm not sure if Johan is using one, is SX1301. In the case that you're using a 2287 is SX1302, okay? And we will not change TTN stack to 2 and TTN region. I don't think you need to change it, I guess. Whoa. I got here a fatal error, but yeah, that works. And let me check. I have a device like Xose show on V3, actually a WIS block with a GPS. And if it works, not sure if it will work, because so we will see the OTA and some data sent. Not sure if this will work. It's been a bit lazy to start, but yeah. So that's the way that, well, let me check if it's working well. I didn't check that the logs here, but you can see the logs. No logs yet, it says, but you can see the logs here. Okay, if it works well, let me refresh my screen. I don't know why I don't see logs, but the idea is that if they work well, you will see that everything is going well here. So now maybe, Xose, let's jump into how to move to V3.
Yeah.
Should I do it myself or? Because,
yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm.
So are you, Johan, are you on V2 now? And can you test that it's working properly or?
Yep, so I'm on the V2 one.
Okay. Cool. So, okay, this is V3. So actually, I'm sure that you can run on EU1 cloud the things. I'm gonna put these on the chat. Okay. I'm gonna put these as well on the chat. Okay. So if I go to gateways, I'm gonna add a new gateway, and the owner, let me copy again the EUI. This is always the same. Oops, no, this is not the, so I will call it FIN2287. I'm not sure if the EUI I copied here, FIN2287 balena. It's public. The frequency plan, it's Europe. It's a recommended, right, Xose?
Yeah, it's a recommended one.
Yeah, for Johan, it will be, I don't know, something like US or Australia.
US. The frequency that I'm using right now is the US.
Okay, cool.
But I need to migrate later.
Okay, cool.
So it's 915.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, probably it is 902, 928 FSB2, maybe. And for India, yeah, it's here. Okay. So, okay, I create the gateway, and the next thing, the next thing that I need to do, is to create an API key. Okay, so I add an API key, and I don't need the name, and I will grant for individual right that it's linked as gateway to a gateway server to traffic exchange, just that. Okay, and I will create this API key. I have it here. I will copy this. I have copied the key, okay? And I will go back to balenaCloud. I don't know why I don't see any logs. We can check later why. And what I will do is I will overwrite TC key with the key that I just copied. Okay, so now that's the magic, right? Xose built. Actually, we have the gateway ID and the gateway key running on TTN v2, and we have the TC key ready to run on v3. So if we override the TTN stack version to 3 and override the TTN version to EU1, not sure what we will need to do for Colombia and India here, Xose.
No idea. Sorry.
That's something that we didn't expect. But that's a good problem to have. I don't know why I don't see any logs. It's stopping. I don't know, this fin, it's running now. Okay, so usually when you change a device variable, the device gets restarted. So we see here that it's connected, right? We see the gateway connected, and everything looks like it's working. And I don't know if I connect again the WIS blocks with the GPS, if it's gonna work. Let me check again. So let's see if we can send the OTA. If we can see the OTA here or not. But yeah, I promise you that this worked before. I don't know why my WIS block now it's lazy to send data. I need to check the Arduino IDE. So what we did here, it's I don't know if Johan, Arijit, are you? Let me restart this to see if I can see the logs. Because these are, or maybe we can go. You can share your screen maybe and show your device, Xose. Maybe that's.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was checking that the environment variables at application level are still pointing to v2. So no.
Okay, so what we did actually, it's pretty interesting. So we have one fleet of devices, like a worldwide fleet of LoRa gateways with the Things network, running on basic station packet forwarder. As you guys have seen, we have one gateway in Colombia, one in India, and 5 in Spain. And the thing is that they are managed. This fleet of devices are managed from a single source code that can be managed through Balena. So if there is a new PR or a bug that it's solved or whatever, all these gateways will be updated, and each one of it's connected to its own the Things stack or the Things network account. So each owner of the gateway, it's managing its own connectivity on the LoRaWAN network, but all the source code, it's managed from one single source of code. That's the magic. And what we do is to move from TTN v2 to the Things stack v3. I don't know if I could say TTS v3. Just changing variables, because we just registered the gateways on both platforms, and just changing some parameters, the TTN stack version and the region. They point to the Things network console, or they point to the Things stack console.
Yeah. Marc,
yes.
May I share my screen for a moment?
Sure.
No?
Yes, of course.
So
because maybe now you can show as well your mosquito.
Yeah. So what you did is you only migrated your fin to v3, because as you can see, the fleet variables are still pointing to version 2, whilst yours is in version 3. So the cool thing about this is that we can change the environment variables at application level. So I'm going to do it now, like changing this to 3 and this to EU1, which might not work for Johan or Ajit, but will for us.
Good idea. So you are forcing these to all the fleet. So all the fleet, when they have the TC key, right, they automatically get updated.
So I can go to devices and check one of my gateways, for instance, and actually see that it's rebooting. I mean, the service is rebooting, as you can see. And if I go to my gateways here and update, then I might see them, the 4 of them, which are already on V3, right? And if I go to my mosquito thing, as you can see, the low-pi device that it's sending messages, that's it. So as you can see, I still have one gateway on Packet Broker, which is the gateway I have on my desk, which is not one of the ones we are demoing now. But the other 4, instead of Packet Broker, they do have the name. So they are actually on V3, and they are reporting to the application directly without the Packet Broker in the middle. So it's working. We can have the we can actually move the whole fleet from one application from V2 to V3. I think one interesting point here is that we still have the ability to move them back to V2. Why? So I can just go back to the dashboard and change at application level, change the variables back to V2 and Europe in our case. Okay, and the devices will be rebooting again, the services will be rebooting again to move back to V2 in a second, hopefully.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because, as Johan said, and as I repeated, we want to move the gateways the very last thing. But at the same time, we don't want to have problems moving them in the last minute, right? We don't want to have an issue with, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 gateways that we are moving right the night before V2 becomes unavailable. So we have to test this first. And the way to test this is to actually register them on V3 and one by one move them to V3 and move them back to V2. It's not rebooting right now. I don't know why. But anyway, let's see the packet group. Yeah, they are already on V2.
Cool.
Yes.
Super cool.
So
yeah, it's really easy to see that it's working, huh?
Yeah, you can see the 5 gateways here, all the 5 of them reporting through the packet broker again.
Yeah.
So yeah, for people that's managing a fleet of gateways on the Things network, it's important to keep in mind that gateways have to be the last thing to move. But at the same time, it's important to know that you will be able to do it in the last minute. So you have to test it first. And the way to test it is to configure everything on V2 and V3 and move them one by one. For instance, a night you have to do some testing, move them back to V2. So you're right. And the minute you have to move them back, to move all of them to V3 just the night before V2 closes, then just do it at application level, and whoops, everything will be on V3. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so you do individually, and then the day that you want to move on the applications on the variables for the application, you do all the changes. That's super handy. Actually, my WizBlocks now it's running, and I see the OTA and the data. So
yeah, sometimes a little bit tricky to get everything working, but eventually they everything finds its way to get it working.
My devices were lazy today. You saw my Fin didn't want to get into the cloud, and the WizBlock didn't want to work. But yeah, I think it worked really well. I think Arijit says on the chat that everything is totally live now on his side. Johan, I don't know on your side in Colombia, how is it going? Dieter, I don't know if you are taking notes of these or just trying on some of your gateways in Bern, or anyone else listening. Feel free to jump here and
yes,
ask questions.
Thank you very much. I will try it. But, unfortunately, I have to leave the call. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
And yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
Cool.
Have a good time.
Thank you very much for joining.
See you.
Looking forward to see you next time. Arijit, Johan is working on your site because we made this European. Well, probably the EU1 server, it's working for all the regions right now, right, Xose?
Yeah, I think it's more a matter of not overloading the servers. So each region has its own server that they will work for everyone. Yeah, as long as you connect to that instance of the server, of course.
Mm-hmm. So Arijit or Johan, feel free to talk if you want. You're muted right now, but.
Mine it's not working in V3.
Okay.
I don't know exactly if it's something related with the server, because my V3 version It has this URL that I will copy in the chat. So I don't know.
Okay, so you're running on the
It's
things
for that.
industry.
Yeah, there is a variable for that. If you go
Yes.
to the GitHub repository, you can check the documentation about
So
what
maybe-
variables you have to set.
Jose, would you like to share your screen and show live how to do it? Because he's on the fleet, so if he's asking for support, we can help him. What do you think?
Sure, yeah. So yeah, this is your gateway, Johan, right? Small tail.
Yes.
So at device variables, you see there are several variables which are already set by the application. You can see them, right?
Yes.
And one of them, which is not here, right? Let me open
Yeah, I
the
didn't
GitHub
put it
repo.
on the contract, but yeah,
No.
basic station.
Basic
yeah,
station,
balenaCloud, basic station. Yeah.
This is the repository we are working on, so you can get all the documentation here. And the variable we want to set
TC-URI.
TC-URI, right? This one. So this one you have to set it to the URI of the LoRaWAN network server. So if we set this TC-URI, add variable TC-URI, and I'm gonna copy the link. I don't think it's right because
maybe you need an S at the end. So
yeah, industries, right?
Industries, yeah.
And
yeah.
it's not going to be HTTPS, but WSTP, and the port is going to be 433. So I think this is the right name. I'm not sure at all, but
check.
I think this should be the right URI. Let's try it.
Check, because on the original blog post I made, let me put it on the chat as well. I made a test for the things network and for the things industries. So let me check for the things industries. It's 8887, if I'm not wrong.
8887.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this should be it. Then you have to set the TC key also, as Marc said. So you have to override it at your device level. Otherwise, the gateway will actually send the messages right, but it will not register, and you won't be able to see it live on the console. So you have to. I advise you to set the TC key to TC key you register. Like Marc said, you have to go to the Raspberry Pi to API keys and add a new key.
Not sure if this is needed on the things industries. Not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Well, I did a test with the things industries a long time ago, before the things stack were released, and I don't remember that I created an API key, but I'm not 100% sure. So
okay. So well, yeah, what you will have to do for sure is to set the URI to your server. As you can see in the GitHub documentation, you have a lot of different variables. And what we are setting which is the TTN stack version and TTN region, actually, it's like a shortcut to build the URI for TTN open community version, for Europe. But if you set the TC URI, it will override those two before. So yeah, you have to find out which is the right one, maybe the one we set already, but I'm not sure about it. So yeah, maybe you can check if the gateway is registering or not. Johan?
It's installing, so it's restarting the service right now.
Okay. Yes.
But probably it needs a bit more of support that can be done offline, but well, not offline, after the meetup. But yeah, so actually, well, Johan is not here, but the things network and the things stack actually has the professional side on the things industries. So yeah, it should be, it should work. Actually, when I built this for the Things Network, when the Things Stack didn't exist, I did it for the Things Network and for the Things Industries, and it worked really well because Basic Station has been designed for the Things Industries. And actually, I think the Things Stack is just based on the Things Industries dashboard.
I'm not sure. I think there's a problem with the connectivity of this gateway, or maybe we have to reboot it because it's got stuck
I don't know.
on starting the services. I don't know. But yeah,
Well, we
the point.
Help you later, Johan.
Sure.
Arijit, what's the situation on yours? It's as well rebooting, or it's offline. You're muted, Xose, I guess.
Yeah, but I was not saying anything.
Okay. I was seeing your screen and.
Yeah, I was checking Arjit gateway, and it looks like I know it's not saying anything, and Heartbeat only means it lost connection somehow.
Yeah, but yeah, well, I think it's. I think we can sum up here and see if there are some questions from the audience. But I think it was. We really explain how to create like a worldwide fleet of the Things Stack gateways, and how to move them from V2 to V3. I think we achieved that in 30 minutes, but we have been having problems and solving other issues.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's something you have to test it yourself, because you will face some issues that might not, well, like the ones we've seen, and sort them out. But yeah, it's not that complicated, and it's once you have the picture of how it works, the application, devices, it's pretty easy to understand logic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hope that people enjoy it. I don't know. Questions? Are there any questions?
Maybe you should give away something for the first question.
Do you have any? Actually, I received this T-shirt, but it's a 3 extra large. So probably not everyone has my size. I can send a balena T-shirt for the first question. No questions. You know, Xose, if we don't have any questions, means that we explain it very well.
Yeah.
So there is no place for questions, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think we extended more than 1 hour today. But I think it was good as well to have Johan on the stream to have his words about why they made this big change from TTN to the Things Stack, and we saw a way using Balena and taking the benefit of a platform that helps actually for that, how to manage a worldwide fleet of devices in a really easy way. And if there are no more questions, I will say thank you to Xose to help me on setting up this and doing some PRs on the repo and saving my life with your gateways.
Yeah, we'll keep on doing things about this. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Johan, feel free to write me a message. I will leave my email on the chat. So feel free to drop me an email so we can help you to set up your gateway in Colombia with the Things Industries. And if there are no more questions, I think we'll drop it here.
For today?
I think so. I mean, following our script, there is not anything else, right, to mention? We got some extra questions about India and Colombia that we didn't prepare. We were not prepared for, but that's the first world problems, right? When you do a virtual meetup now on these pandemics, that people from all around the world join, and we can help them.
Yeah. And Johan, on my side, if you have any questions about TTN, same. I'm gonna leave my email here too, so you can contact me on anything about TTN or whatever, and I will try to help you too.
Awesome.
Okay.
So thank you very much to everyone, and let's stay connected. And see you at the next IoT Barcelona meetup or TTN Catalonia or other meetups all around the world.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
Have a good
everybody.
day. Bye-bye.